If you're over 60, or especially over 70, this could be one of the most important things you watch this year. Picture this. You walk into the kitchen and suddenly forget why you went there. Or you bump into an old friend from your neighborhood, and for a few scary seconds, you blank on their name. Moments like these are frustrating, even a little frightening. But here's what nobody tells you about aging and memory. A groundbreaking study from the University of Exeter in 2019 found something shocking. Seniors who simply did puzzles regularly had the short-term memory capacity of someone 8 years younger. 8 years younger, it was as if their brains hadn't aged for nearly a decade, just by challenging themselves a few times a week. Longevity doctors from Harvard to Mayo Clinic were stunned at how such a simple habit could make such a dramatic difference. They discovered a pattern. People who kept sharp into their 70s and beyond had a handful of consistent daily habits that most folks ignore. These habits acted like a fountain of youth for the brain. And guess what? There are 5 of these daily habits, 5 morning tricks that can keep your brain young. In fact, one habit in particular, which I'll reveal as number 1, had an almost unbelievable effect in studies. It actually reversed signs of brain aging in older adults. When you see the science behind this one, you'll understand why so much conventional advice about brain health misses the mark for people over 70. This isn't just about doing a crossword or taking a vitamin. This is about whether you'll be conversing happily with your great-grandkids in your 80s, or struggling to remember what day it is. Before we dive into these life-changing habits, tell me in the comments right now, how old are you, and what's one memory lapse or mental challenge you've noticed lately? Maybe you forgot a recent conversation, or a word that's on the tip of your tongue. I personally read and respond to as many comments as possible, because your stories help thousands of others realize they're not alone in this journey. So drop a comment below. Let's share our experience. Now, without further ado, let's get straight into these 5 morning habits that will have your brain firing on all cylinders again, no matter your age. Habit number 5, rise and shine at the same time every day. Number 5, the consistent morning routine. This habit might not sound flashy, but it lays the groundwork for everything else. It's as simple as waking up at the same time each day and getting some morning light. Why is this so crucial? Because consistency in your daily routine sets your internal body clock or circadian rhythm, which profoundly affects brain health. A 2022 study led by University of Pittsburgh researchers found that older adults who got up before 7 a.m. consistently and stayed active throughout the day were happier, less depressed, and performed better on cognitive tests than those with irregular schedules. In fact, the seniors with the most regular morning routines had significantly better cognition and mood, while those with erratic stop-and-go activity patterns had the highest rates of depression and worst cognitive scores. Think about that. It's not just what you do in the day, but when you do it. There's something about getting going early, staying active all day, and following the same routine that seems to protect older adults, explains Dr. Stephen Smagla, the lead author of that study. So if you currently wake up at 6:30 a.m., some days, 9 a.m. other days, and nap randomly, your brain is missing out on the protective power of routine. Here's how to do it. Pick a wake-up time and stick to it. Yes, even on weekends. When your alarm goes off, open the curtains or step outside for a few minutes of morning sunlight. This natural light is a powerful signal to your brain's clock. Scientists call these signals Zeitgebers or time cues. Morning light tells your brain it's time to be alert and helps reset your sleep-wake cycle. Why does that matter for memory? Because a stable circadian rhythm leads to better sleep at night, and sleep is when your brain consolidates memories and clears out waste proteins that contribute to Alzheimer's. Disrupting your routine, on the other hand, can throw your sleep off and leave those toxins lingering. One more tip, have something to wake up for each morning. It could be a walk with a friend, watering your garden, or reading the newspaper at a favorite spot. Research shows that having a purposeful morning activity can improve your sleep and overall mental health. It gives your brain a positive reason to switch on each day. The key is consistency. Over time, a regular rise and shine routine trains your body and brain to be awake and sharp during the day and to sleep deeply at night. This habit alone can make you feel more clear-headed and upbeat within a couple of weeks. Now, let's build on that foundation. You've set the clock for your brain. What comes next? A dose of something that directly boosts your brain's performance. Habit number 4, morning movement for blood flow and BDNF. Number 4, get moving in the morning. We all know exercise is good for the body, but did you know it's one of the most powerful tools to keep the brain young? The trick here is to do some physical activity early in the day, even if it's gentle. It could be a brisk walk, some light stretching, or yoga, or a quick bike ride, whatever gets your heart rate up a bit. Why morning? Because the benefits can then last all day long. A 2024 study from University College London found that on days when adults aged 50-83 did more moderate exercise in the morning, they performed better on memory tests later that day, and even into the next day. In other words, a morning workout acted like a mental booster shot that kept their brains sharper until nighttime. The researchers observed that participants who got their heart pumping also experienced more deep sleep that night, which further improved memory the following day. It's a virtuous cycle: exercise, better cognition, better sleep, even better cognition. But you don't have to run a marathon. Moderate or vigorous activity means anything that gets your heart rate up: brisk walking, dancing, even walking up a few flights of stairs, says Dr. McCullough Bloomberg, the study's lead author. It doesn't have to be formal exercise or a gym session. The key is to elevate your heart rate for at least 20-30 minutes in the morning. This pumps more blood, oxygen, and nutrients to your brain. It also triggers the release of a wonderful protein called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which acts like miracle grow for your brain cells, helping them grow and form new connections. Studies show that exercise increases levels of neurotransmitters like dopamine and norepinephrine too, which enhance focus and mood. Essentially, you're feeding and watering your brain each time you break a sweat. The long-term effects are stunning. A landmark 2023 clinical trial, the largest ever on exercise in older adults at risk for Alzheimer's, found that even light exercise can slow cognitive decline in people with mild memory impairment. Participants who stuck with a regular walking program maintained better memory and thinking skills over a year than those who remained sedentary. These findings show us that even low-intensity exercise may slow cognitive decline in at-risk older adults. Aladdin Shediab of UC San Diego, one of the lead researchers. And if you can handle a bit more intensity, the gains may be even greater. One study in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease found that older adults who did high-intensity walking, think power walking, had significantly improved memory scores, 47% improvement, after 1 year compared to those who only did stretch. That's almost a 50% boost in memory performance from exercise alone. So how can you make this work? Try 10 minutes of gentle movement to start, right after waking up. Maybe some arm swings, marching in place, or a few light stretches to shake off the sleep. Then later in the morning, go for that walk, or do a quick workout video. The idea is to make morning exercise a habit, as regular as your morning coffee. Some longevity doctors actually schedule a brisk walk within an hour of waking, as part of their routine. Not only wakes up the brain, but also exposes you to fresh air and sunlight, tying back into habit 5. If mobility is an issue, even chair exercises or simple footstepping can help. The goal is consistency. Move your body every morning. You'll likely notice within days that you feel more alert in the mornings and more clear-headed in the afternoons. And over months, this can translate to better memory, slower brain aging, and a reduced risk of dementia. The next habit might not sound like a brain exercise at first, yet fixing this could be the most immediate way to sharpen your mind each day. And it's something you literally do to yourself every morning. Before we continue, if you're enjoying this video so far, please hit that like button so more seniors can find these tips, and don't forget to subscribe. We share powerful senior health advice every day, and you don't want to miss the next insight that could help you or your loved one. Your support means we can reach and help more people. Thank you. Now back to it. Habit number 3, brain-boosting breakfast. Fuel hydration. Number 3, feed your brain. Don't forget hydration. What you put into your body every morning is basically fuel for your brain. Imagine trying to drive a car on dirty or empty fuel. It sputters and stalls. The same goes for your brain. If you skip breakfast or load up on the wrong foods. The morning trick here is twofold. Give your brain quality nutrients and plenty of hydration at the start of the day. This sets the stage for hours of mental energy and clarity. Let's talk food first. Decades of research have shown that diet is a cornerstone of brain health. In fact, a 2025 study in Nature Medicine found that following a Mediterranean-style diet can help offset genetic risk for Alzheimer's. Seniors who ate more vegetables, fruits, whole grains, nuts, olive oil, and fish, and less red meat and butter had significantly lower rates of cognitive decline and dementia, even if they were genetically predisposed to Alzheimer's. And another 2025 study from the University of Hawaii showed that adopting the MIND diet, which is like a mix of Mediterranean and DASH diet, focused on brain foods, even later in life, may reduce the risk of dementia. The take-home message is encouraging, said the study co-author. It's never too late to make changes. Eating more plant-based, nutrient-rich foods, even later in life, can protect your brain. So what does that mean for your morning routine? It means make your breakfast count. Instead of a sugary cereal or no breakfast at all, include some brain-healthy foods. The Mayo Clinic specifically recommends diets rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, and healthy fats to boost memory functioning. For example, have a bowl of oatmeal, whole grain, topped with berries and walnuts. Berries, like blueberries, strawberries, grapes, are loaded with antioxidants that protect your brain from oxidative damage and have been shown to improve memory function. Walnuts and almonds provide omega-3 fatty acids and vitamin E, which have been linked to better cognitive performance and slower brain aging. Or maybe you prefer an egg with sautéed leafy greens like spinach. Dark leafy greens are packed with folate and antioxidants that have been shown to reduce age-related memory loss. If you like toast, choose whole grain bread for sustained energy. Your brain runs on glucose, and complex carbs provide a steady supply. Perhaps add some avocado for healthy monounsaturated fat. Avocados have been found to improve blood flow and cholesterol, benefiting both heart and brain. And don't forget hydration. After a long night's sleep, your brain is thirsty. Even a mild level of dehydration can cause brain fog and impair memory. So one of the simplest morning tricks is to drink a large glass of water first thing. Many seniors walk around chronically dehydrated and don't realize their memory lapses or headaches are partly due to not drinking enough. Some longevity experts recommend keeping a glass or bottle of water by your bedside and drinking it upon waking. You can add a slice of lemon for taste and a little vitamin C. Staying well hydrated improves blood circulation in the brain and helps with concentration. A good rule of thumb is to aim for at least 8 ounces of water in the morning. And of course, continue drinking fluids throughout the day. Now, let's address a popular morning beverage, coffee or tea. The good news for coffee lovers, your morning cup of joe might actually be helping your brain. A recent Australian study reported that daily coffee drinking was associated with slower cognitive decline and a lower likelihood of developing Alzheimer's or mild cognitive impairment over 10 years. In that study, people who increased their intake from 1 to 2 cups a day had up to an 8% slower decline in executive function, decision-making, planning skills, and about 5% less buildup of amyloid plaques in the brain. Over 8. Those plaques are linked to Alzheimer's, so less amyloid accumulation is a great sign. Other research has echoed this. Moderate coffee and tea drinkers tend to have sharper thinking and lower dementia risk than non-drinkers. Coffee contains caffeine and antioxidants that may protect neurons, but before you pour a third cup, remember moderation and timing. The sweet spot in many studies is around 1 to 3 cups of coffee a day, or 2 to 4 cups of tea. More than that, and you might get jitters, blood pressure spikes, or disrupt your sleep. And avoid caffeine later in the day. As Dr. Yuko Hara notes, too much caffeine in the afternoon or evening can interfere with quality sleep, wiping out the benefits you got. So enjoy your coffee or green tea in the morning, but probably switch to water or herbal drinks by late afternoon. Also, watch the sugar. If your coffee or tea is loaded with sugar, that could spike your blood glucose and insulin, which over time isn't great for brain health. High blood sugar can accelerate brain aging. Consider using a little stevia or just milk spices as alternatives to heaps of sugar. To sum up habit number 3, each morning, hydrate and nourish your brain. Think of breakfast as brain fuel, water, antioxidants, healthy fats, and protein. Even if you're an intermittent faster who skips breakfast, make your first meal of the day, whenever it is, count with brain boosting. And don't start your day on an empty tank if you find it leaves you mentally sluggish. Many seniors find they think much clearer after a protein-rich, balanced breakfast. You're giving your brain the resources it needs to form neurotransmitters, carry signals efficiently, and literally build and repair cells. This habit gives you an immediate boost in mental clarity each morning and sets you up for long-term brain health. Habit number 2. Use it or lose it. Mental gymnastics every morning. Number 2. Brain games and new learnings. Now we turn to exercising your mind directly. The saying, use it or lose it, exists for a reason. Your brain muscles, memory, attention, reasoning need regular workouts, especially as you age. One of the best morning tricks to keep your brain young is to do something mentally challenging early in the day. Think of it as a morning calisthenics routine, but for your neurons. This could be solving a crossword puzzle or Sudoku, doing a few brain teaser questions, practicing a new language on an app, or even memorizing a short poem. The specific activity matters less than the fact that it engages your brain actively. We already touched on how puzzles can make a 75-year-old brain act like it's years younger. Let's dig a bit deeper. In a large study of over 19,000 adults aged 50 to 93, the PROTECT study in the UK, researchers found that people who regularly did word or number puzzles had significantly better cognition across the board. In fact, their short-term memory was on average like that of someone 8 years younger, and their problem-solving abilities, like grammatical reasoning, matched folks 10 years younger. That's incredible, a decade difference in brain function linked to engaging in puzzles. The lead researcher, Dr. Ann Corbett, said this shows how powerful challenging your brain can be, and she hopes people take up puzzles or evidence-based brain training games as part of a lifestyle approach to keep their brains healthy. It's like building a cognitive reserve, so when you continually challenge your mind, you're strengthening neural pathways and even creating new ones, which can help compensate if some neurons start to falter with age. Another study published in NEM Evidence in 2022 looked at older adults with mild cognitive impairment, early memory loss. They had one group do online crossword puzzles and another group do other computerized brain games for 18 months. The crossword group actually improved their cognitive scores and had less brain shrinkage in memory-related areas compared to the other group. About 37% of those doing crosswords improved their cognition by what researchers call a 2-point difference, which is almost as much improvement as some FDA-approved memory medications provide. In other words, puzzles were nearly as effective as a drug in that study. And importantly, the MRI scans showed crosswords slowed down brain atrophy, shrinking of the hippocampus and cortex, by about 0.51% over 18 months. That might sound small, but normally those areas shrink as we age. So any slowdown is like hitting the brakes on brain age. The type of mental exercise can vary. The key is difficulty and novelty. If it's too easy or routine, it won't stimulate new brain growth. So if you're a whiz at crosswords because you do them daily, mix it up with a different type of puzzle, or try a higher difficulty. If you've always done Sudoku, try a word puzzle. If you love reading, perhaps challenge yourself to recall and summarize what you read afterward. Great for memory. Learning a new skill is fantastic too. For instance, teaching yourself a few phrases in a new language each morning, or learning to play a musical instrument for 15 minutes. These activities engage multiple parts of the brain and form new connections. There's even research showing that bilingual seniors and those who learned music early have later and slower cognitive decline, likely because of these enriched neural networks built over time. One particularly fun way to challenge your brain is to incorporate it into your morning routine. For example, while having your morning coffee, do the daily crossword in the newspaper, or, if puzzles aren't your thing, try a quick round of a brain training app. Some are designed for seniors and target memory, attention, speed. Even 10 minutes a day can make a difference if done consistently. Another idea: after breakfast, spend a few minutes writing down a couple of things you did yesterday or reciting what your plans are for today from memory. It sounds simple, but actively recalling details is a form of memory practice. Social interaction in the morning can also be a mental stimulant. A phone call with a friend where you actually discuss and think, not just mindless chit-chat, can engage your brain in complex ways. Maybe discuss a book you both read, or a piece of news. Social and intellectual engagement together are like a double brain boost. Remember, the brain is like a muscle, and morning is often when you're freshest mentally, so it's an ideal time to flex. Over time, consistent mental exercise can actually lead to structural changes in the brain. Studies have shown increases in gray matter density and improved neural efficiency in those who engage in cognitive training regularly, even in their and an active brain is far more resilient against dementia. For instance, a famous long-term study found that seniors who had mentally stimulating hobbies, reading, puzzles, crafts, were less likely to develop Alzheimer's, or if they did, they developed it later than those who didn't keep their minds active. One study of crossword enthusiasts found a 2.5-year delay in dementia onset, so incorporate a brain gym into your AM routine. You can even give yourself a mini quiz each morning, maybe recall all your grandchildren's birthdays, or list as many state capitals, or countries, or presidents as you can. Make a game of it. It can actually be fun and gives a sense of accomplishment to start the day. Plus, you'll likely notice that as weeks go by, you're remembering more details and thinking a bit quicker on your feet. Clear signs your brain is responding to the challenge. Habit number 1. Morning mindfulness, the stress reset that reverses brain aging. Number 1. Daily morning mindfulness, meditation, or deep breathing. This is it. The morning trick that has stunned researchers and longevity doctors alike with its impact on the aging brain. You might be thinking, meditation? Really? Yes. We're talking about spending just 10 to 15 minutes each morning in a mindfulness practice, whether it's meditation, deep breathing exercises, or prayerful reflection, as a powerful way to keep your brain young. This habit addresses something deceptively simple but absolutely critical for brain health: managing stress and training your attention. Here's why it's so powerful. Chronic stress is like acid to the brain. It corrodes memory and cognitive function over time. Older adults with higher stress levels have significantly higher risk of developing cognitive impairment. Stress floods your brain with cortisol, a hormone that in excess can literally shrink the memory centers, like the hippocampus, and impair your neurons' ability to communicate. So what's the antidote? Mindfulness practice. It's essentially a workout for your parasympathetic nervous system, the calm and connect side of your brain. By practicing mindfulness, you lower cortisol, blood pressure, and inflammation, all of which protects your brain in the long run. The science behind this is jaw-dropping. In a Harvard-affiliated study at Massachusetts General Hospital, researchers took 16 people who had never meditated before and put them through an 8-week mindfulness meditation program. They did about 27 minutes a day of practice. After just 8 weeks, MRI scans showed actual physical changes in their brains. Specifically, the hippocampus, the brain's key memory and learning center, increased in gray matter density. At the same time, the amygdala, the brain's fear and stress center, decreased in volume, in correlation with reduced stress levels reported by the participants. Harvard scientists essentially proved that meditation can literally rebuild parts of the brain in a matter of weeks. Think about that. Even in midlife or later, you can grow your brain with this practice. The senior author of the study, Sarah Lazar, said people are not just feeling better, there are structural changes in the brain that may underlie these improvements. Another striking finding: long-term meditators have brains that look years younger than their age. One study found that experienced meditation practitioners in their 50s had a brain age about 5 to 7 years younger than non-meditators. In other words, a 50-year-old meditator's brain resembled a 45-year-old's brain on scan. The benefits were seen in areas responsible for attention and memory. Dr. Andy J. of USC, in a 2025 study, noted that mindfulness isn't just about feeling relaxed, it can literally change the way your brain handles attention, and that's crucial for maintaining cognitive health as we age. Even short-term mindfulness can help. A study in the journal in Neuro, 2025, showed that just 30 days of daily guided mindfulness meditation led to measurable improvements in cognitive performance in adults, including seniors. Participants who meditated showed better attention and processing speed compared to those who did. Moreover, simple breathing techniques can yield benefits too. Research has found that practicing slow, deep breathing exercises can both lower stress and increase cognitive function in older adults. It's amazing that something as gentle and accessible as focusing on your breath can have a direct impact on brain function. So how can you incorporate this magic brain youth pill into your mornings? Fortunately, you don't need any equipment, just a bit of quiet time. Right after you wake up, before the day's worries and to-do lists flood in, take some minutes for mindfulness. You could sit on a chair or cushion, close your eyes, and focus on your breath, slowly inhaling and exhaling for 10 minutes. If your mind wanders, and it will, gently bring it back to the breath. This trains attention. Alternatively, you can use guided meditation apps or YouTube videos tailored for seniors. Some might focus on positive affirmations or guided imagery, which can be both relaxing and mentally stimulating. Deep breathing exercises are another option. Try inhaling for a count of 4, holding for 4, exhaling for 6 to 8, and repeating. This kind of breathing has been shown to activate the vagus nerve and reduce stress response. The first few times you might not notice much, except maybe feeling calm. But over weeks, many people report they feel more mentally clear, more resilient to stress, and even improvement in memory and focus. One 72-year-old participant in a meditation study commented that, after 2 months of daily mindfulness, she found herself recalling details from books and conversations much more easily, something she hadn't been able to do for years. Another gentleman in his late 60s noted he was able to handle unexpected stressful events, like a sudden bill or an argument, without getting as flustered or forgetful, thanks to the sense of centeredness he built each morning. From a neurological perspective, what you're doing each morning with mindfulness is resetting your stress level to baseline. You're training your brain to not carry yesterday's anxieties into today. That means your mental resources are freed up for memory, learning, and enjoying the present moment, rather than dousing the fires of stress. Plus, meditation is known to improve attention span, which is fundamental to memory. You can't remember what you never properly paid attention to in the first place. One more pro tip: combine habit 1 and habit 5. Do your meditation in the morning sunlight if you can. Sit by a window where the sun comes in, or on your porch. That way you get the calming benefit of mindfulness and the circadian boosting effect of natural light together. It's a fantastic way to start the day with a peaceful mind and a body clock that's in sync. Longevity experts often say that if there were a pill that gave all the benefits of meditation, every doctor would prescribe it. But since it's not a pill, many people underestimate it. As you've seen, the science is solid. Regular mindfulness literally changes and protects the brain. It's never too late to start. Even if you've never tried meditating, starting in your 60s or 70s can still lead to improvements. So give it a try. It might feel a bit strange at first, but stick with it daily for a couple of weeks and observe the change. Now, at the end of the day, quite literally, these 5 morning habits work synergistically. Each addresses a different yet vital piece of the brain health puzzle. Consistent wake-up time. Habit 5 sets your brain's clock and optimizes your sleep quality, which is when memory consolidation happens. Morning exercise. Habit 4 pumps oxygen and growth factors into your brain, keeping neurons nourished and stimulated. Brain-healthy breakfast and hydration. Habit 3 provide the raw materials and stable energy your brain needs to function optimally and build resilience against aging. Mental stimulation. Habit 2 directly strengthens neural connections and creates new ones, essentially building a brain reserve that can help compensate for age-related changes or even injury. Mindfulness meditation. Habit 1 reduces toxic stress, sharpens attention, and even triggers brain repair and growth in critical areas for memory and cognition. Together, these 5 habits essentially rebuild the complete environment that a youthful brain thrives in. By doing them, you're covering the physical, mental, and emotional aspects of brain health. The beauty is, none of them require fancy technology or expensive programs, just consistency and a bit of effort each morning. The total time investment for all 5 might be around 60 minutes. For example, wake at same time, 20-30 min exercise, 10 min meditation, 15 min for a good breakfast, while doing a puzzle for 5-10 min. You can adjust according to your schedule. Even a shorter routine can help if done regularly. Compare that to the freedom of staying sharp and independent as you age, of not having to fear when you misplace your keys, of confidently learning new things even in your 80s. That is priceless. It's important to remember that age-related cognitive decline is not inevitable. Yes, some slowing is normal, but significant decline can often be prevented or at least delayed. In fact, the latest research and clinical evidence is very empowering. They conclude that much of brain aging is reversible with the right targeted approach. These 5 habits are that approach, proven by science and increasingly recommended by forward-thinking doctors. Think of them as a comprehensive, holistic brain care routine. Now, we want to hear from you. When was the last time you felt completely mentally sharp? Maybe you aced a game of bridge or remembered all the items on your shopping list without writing them down. And here's the real question. If these simple morning habits could help you get back some of that sharpness in a matter of weeks, which one are you going to start with tomorrow? Maybe you'll take a brisk walk at sunrise, or dust off that old crossword book, or try a 5-minute meditation using a phone app. Share with us in the comments what you plan to do or any experiences you have. Your story could inspire someone else to take control of their brain health, so don't be shy. Ultimately, staying mentally young at 70 plus isn't magic. It's about small daily actions that anyone can do. The science is on your side. Implement these morning tricks, and you just might find yourself remembering names, conversations, and joyful moments as clearly as you did a decade ago. Here's to a sharper mind and a brighter, more confident you. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, stay healthy, stay active, and stay mindful.